So, hey there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Bobby Legs Loves Watches. And today I'm going to try a little something different. Typically, I do review videos and I also do live streams where I discuss topics and have some help with, you know, with some friends. And we discuss, new releases in the watch community. I also do other topic videos as well. But today, I wanted to try something different. I wanted to mesh two of the platforms that I use to discuss watches, watch reviews, and a stream. So we're gonna do a live stream review. Let's get to it now. Just to lay it out, I know there's a few people here in the chat, and thank you so much for showing up. This was kind of a last minute decision by me. I'm going to go into the review at first, and do that for a few minutes, and then definitely interact with you guys. And if you guys have any questions about the watch that we're going to be reviewing tonight, please feel free to put them in the chat. So today, as you guys saw in the title, we are reviewing the Sinn U50. Now, before I go into more detail about some of the specs, I want to talk about how I got to this point where I picked up the U50 and almost became a little obsessed with it. About a couple of years ago, I was exploring the Sinn lineup and I stumbled upon the U50, the older brother and bigger brother of the U50, the U1, right? And um, and it didn't really appeal to me, and it was mostly because of this right here, these hands. I was just not into that look at all. They looked like Lego hands to me. So I wasn't really interested in uh, Zinn's dive watches. That started to change at the end of 2019. I went to a Watch Buys Roadshow in Manhattan, and I saw the U1 for the first time. Now, the other thing about the U1 that didn't appeal to me was its overall size. It was 44 millimeter case diameter, and I think it was definitely over 50 millimeter lug to lug, and sort of a little thick. But I saw them live, right? I saw them at the roadshow, and and I put them on, and the size was actually it fit pretty well. Actually, I mean, it was a little big, but it was something I could handle, and I started liking it. I mean, it grew on me. It grew on me just like how the snowflake hands grew on me eventually after I hated them initially. Uh, these hands grew on me. And so, um, l- beginning of 2020, when I was thinking about maybe picking up a U1, I heard rumblings that they were going to come out with a smaller version of it. And sure enough, months later, they came out with the U50, and it was a hot item. It seemed like there was like a little bit of a waiting list to get it. And so I just put it off for a little while. I started picking up other watches, and then at the end of the last year, I became um, more obsessed with it again. And so I put my name on the list with Watch Buys, and sure enough, 2 months later, which was a few weeks ago, I was able to get delivery on it. So let's jump in and do some basic specs. We have, like I said, the U50 here, Sinn U50, 41 millimeter case diameter, around a 47 millimeter lug to lug. Let me get that there in the center for you guys. Now notice how thin this is. This is 11.2 millimeter case thickness, and which is pretty amazing when you think about it, that this is a 500-meter rated water resistant diver. Pretty amazing. 20 millimeter lug width here. And so I originally purchased this on a bracelet, the Tegimented bracelet. I'll go into the story about the bracelet in a little while, but I also picked up this Sinn silicone strap with the Tegimented um, clasp, as you can see here. And I've gotten a lot of questions about this strap. It looks pretty thick. And was it stiff? And it actually um, is pretty flexible and pliable. So not many problems there with that. Now the clasp is long. That doesn't bother me either. It is very comfortable on wrist, I would have to say. And so far, I've really enjoyed wearing this watch. My first impressions of it was, wow, that looks small. For a 41 millimeter case diameter watch, um, it felt it felt very small on wrist when I looked on my wrist. And I'll put it on my wrist right now. And there's a couple of things that are playing with me visually. Um, the thinness of the watch really makes it feel less big, if that makes sense. So, if you have like a 6.5 inch wrist, I got a 6 3/4 inch wrist. If you have a 6.5 inch wrist, you can definitely pull this off. Even a 6 1/4 inch wrist, I feel. Like I said, the lug to lug is 47 millimeters. That's what's really very important about, whether this is going to fit on your wrist or not, in my opinion. And the thickness, which is 11.2. Now, this is fully tegmented case and bezel. And like I said, it came with the bracelet. Now, I'm going to show you an example. I have an 857, a Sinn 857, and it's a little bit of a bigger watch. Let's put them together side by side here. Let me try to get them kind of even. And and so the tegmented bracelet's a little bit wider because it's a 22 millimeter lug to lug. But it's basically the same concept. It fits comfortably. You have this clasp, which you know, it's okay. I mean, I wish they could just do a better job with a case. It feels like it's not up to par with other watches in this price range. I mean, like, why couldn't they do a clasp like this? I'm sure there's a reason, but this clasp is so much better, even though it doesn't have any micro adjust. And the story behind this, and I'll get back to the bracelet. Um, I um, I went to the Watch Buy's website to purchase the silicone strap, and they had a 20 by 20, so 20 lug and 20. It doesn't taper down, and it had it on an adjustable tegmented bracelet. And so I clicked on it, and then there was an input box, and the question was, which watch are you gonna put this on? And I typed in U50, and they're like, well, the one I selected on the site, is not going to fit that. Here's your option, another option. And so this class does not have the quick adjust that the other um, strap with the class had. So, I'm not sure um, why that's the case, but a quick adjust would be great. You see these pins here? So there are a lot more pins on this strap. When you get it, you do have to cut it, right? So you remove a pin and you put the spring bar, the other pin there, and you cut and you slice to size. So at first, I was cutting one rubber link and one rubber link at a time, and then I realized, well, I got to let that go. So I almost got to the end here, and I still got a little bit of space. So I'm just waiting until the summer comes and see if whether I need to take one of these off or not. But it still feels pretty comfortable now, so I may just leave it like the way it is. But it wasn't as nerve-wracking as I thought it would be, and that's coming on after like going through the process, and I don't have the bracelet here for the U50, but I got to bring it to a jeweler. I had almost a traumatic experience with the bracelet. So if you notice here on the bracelets, you have this hexagonal um, screws. And so you need to use these little guys here, these little Allen wrenches, one Allen wrench to hold the screw on one end, and the other one to turn. And there's like some sort of like glue or coating. I forget the name of it, and I'm sure somebody will put it up in the chat. But you got to be careful. You can't be too aggressive when you're turning. You kind of have to take it slowly to turn. And And so I stripped. I mean, I sized one side of the bracelet, went on the other side, and I stripped the uh, the the hexagonal screw on one link, and then I was like, okay, well, I could still save the day, so maybe I could just get the other one, right? And then I stripped that one too. So yeah, Loctite. That's what Daniel. Thank you. That's the gluish whatever that they use to secure the hexagonal screws. And so I stripped both of them, and now they're like stuck in there, and so I got to take it to a jeweler. Um, I almost initially didn't buy this watch on a bracelet. I wanted it on a rubber strap, but there was like a $70 difference, and I was like, you're almost taught when the bracelet is not that much more than a strap or a leather band that you just go bracelet, right? Um, and so I just instinctively went bracelet, and and whatever, it is what it is. So that's not a problem. I'll bring it to a jeweler, and they'll they'll take the screws out. Heat defeats Loctite. So lesson learned. Just warm it up a little bit under hot water. That's what I saw on one YouTube video to do. Um, and so so that's what happened, and that's why I have it on the bracelet. So let's get into a little bit more detail of the watch. Um, the great thing about Zinn and their watches and some of their watches, they have this tegmented technology on it, which is a process that they do on the surface. It's not a coating, but it's a process they do by hardening the surface of the metal. Now, this metal is German submarine steel, seawater resistant, very, very strong, scratch resistant. When I went to that Watch Buys Roadshow, there was a Zinn representative there, and he was taking like a screwdriver or a little, like, a jeweler's screwdriver, and just trying his best to scratch the watch, and he couldn't do it. So that left me very, very impressed about the technology. You do have a 4 o'clock screw here with aggressive knurl as well, and I like the 4 o'clock crown. Um, I the 3 o'clock crown doesn't bother me either, but it kind of really does stay out of the way of the wrist, which I like. My Girard Perregaux has a 4 o'clock crown as well, and I find it very, very comfortable. Very I like that. I like this setup. You know, we also have here, before I get into the dial, it is powered by the Sellita um, SW 300. And that is a clone, if you will, or the alternative to the caliber ETA caliber 2892, and it's 28,800 beats per hour, 25 joule, around the 42-hour power reserve. It's a thin movement, and that's why you can get this 11.2 millimeter case thickness here. It's actually a millimeter thinner than the SW 200. So that is something to consider. Accuracy, I measured. I have this app, Tool Time, I think it's called, and I measured. I did a measurement, and it was spot on. 0 seconds it gained in one day. Now that was only one measure I took, and I spoke to my wife, who has a master's in physics, and she's like, well, there's human error, blah blah blah, this and that. Okay, whatever, sure, there's human error anyway. But that's still pretty pretty accurate. So I'm really, really happy with the accuracy. I don't know if Zinn does any kind of regulating on their movements. I know they pick premium movements, but I can't find anything really on their site saying that they do any kind of regulating with the movements. But anyway, I mean, that's just great, great accuracy and great performance. And I'll try it. I'll keep on taking measurements over time. And when I do a 6-month review, a more traditional 6-month review of the watch, I'll give you guys a good idea of what's going on with it. So very happy with that in that aspect. Now let's jump in and talk about some of the other um, technical details. So like I said, we mentioned the SW300-1 anti-magnetic as per DIN 8309, which is a German standard sapphire crystal, flat sapphire it feels, with anti-reflective on both sides, which is nice because it looks like, there's no glass on it. But I've noticed with a lot of Zen watches, especially that I see on the secondary market, that coating on the top starts to wear off a little bit, and that could be a bummer. The case back is screwed down. The crown is screwable. It's waterproof, as you know, for 500 meters, and it's tested based on the European diving equipment standards. So all those kind of standards. As we know, tegmented technology on the case and the bezel. 74 grams it weighs without the strap. It really feels light on waist, I have to tell you. And the dial is matte black, and it has luminescent colors, luminescence on the hands and the hour markers. So I just really really love this watch, and it's a 60 click bezel. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it's nice and solid. Let me do some size comparison. Uh, when I got this watch, I was thinking about how it would compare with my Tudor Black Bay 58, because the sizing is almost spot on. I mean, the Black Bay is 39 millimeters, but the Zinn is 41. It almost doesn't even seem like it's that much different, you know? Um, Both have very divisive hand shapes, right? I mean, like, I hated both of these at first, and it's so funny. I come full circle uh, years later, and I have both in my collection. You know what I mean? Um, let's talk about again the thinness of the U50. The U50 is 11.2, and the Black Bay is like 11.9. So it's thinner. This is thinner than this, and this is 500 meters water resistance, while this has 200 meters water resistance. You know what I mean? I think that box sapphire crystal kind of bumps up that thinness number there, or thickness number, however you want to look at it. But still, they both feel great on my wrist. At the end of the day, man, my opinion about the diver, the Black Bay diver that I had, the 58, is that this is a dress diver. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's nice to have the water resistance, and I could go into a pool, blah blah blah. But if I was actually ever going to go diving, like, this is the watch that I would go diving with it. Look at those. Look at those hands. I mean, like, ugh, I love them. I love them. You have that blocky minute, hour, and minute hand, and then you have that seconds hand with a red highlighted square at the end of it with a little white pointer. Zinn at the 12 o'clock, U50 underneath the right above the 6 o'clock with automatique and 500 meters water resistance. Just a super super watch. Enjoying my time with it. It's a keeper. It's a keeper. And I'll be doing some comparisons. I'm getting a U1 from a subscriber soon, and I'll do a comparison video with the U1, and I'll do a comparison video with the U50 because they're both in my collection. Let me just one more time put it up against the Zen 8587, which is a little bit of a bigger watch. It feels bigger on wrist too, and it's definitely the bracelet adds weight to it, and I'm sure the bracelet would add weight to this. I'm gonna probably keep it on strap. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not super impressed. I mean, I'm not super impressed with this bracelet. I mean, it's comfortable, sure. It's tegmented, great, but it's okay. It's okay. I mean, the clasp, again, still something left a little left desired for it. I mean, like, I really wished it could do something with this clasp. It's just mediocre. It looks eh. It's got a diver's extension, okay. It's got 3 micro adjust, fine. Um, but it feels a little cheap. The rest of this watch is just such a great watch. You know what I mean? Such a great watch, and the class is a little disappointing. I know a lot of people are like, big deal, whatever. But I don't know. It is what it is. So let me just say hi to some of the guys. That ends my technical review portion of uh, of this of the U50. Brownie's saying so much thinner than my U1. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting that U1 in for review. I'm gonna do a review and then the comparison. Um, Thanks, Amin. Yeah, yeah, I have that regiment uh, of lotion. Um, it's a dark case and the black dial and a strap. Okay, maybe Design Atelier is answering another question there. Joe C looks perfect. Yeah, I mean it's just a really, oh, I have it on at my wrist. It fits really well. It just looks perfect, right? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm in the honeymoon phase, so I stare at it a lot, right? Love the thinness of it. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just super thin. It's amazing how thin that is. I mean, for a 500-meter diver, I mean, it's just great, you know. Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's definitely a keeper. What can I say? Um, let's see here. Why do they make a strap that needs to be cut? I hate that. Yeah, there must be a really good reason. There must be really good. I don't know it. I'm sure somebody can put in the comments, maybe to get a really super exact fit. But if they did that, give me some micro adjusts too here. Figure out a way to do a quick adjust on this one. You figured it out on another rubber strap. Um, why can't I have it with the U50? But maybe that's coming, and I'll probably get the red strap too because I think the red strap will look good. I would not be comfortable doing that myself. Look, it's not that bad. It really isn't. You have to take your time, and it's time consuming because you want to take off like one link on each side at a time, and then do a measurement, right? So then you got to put back the clasp on it. Um, it's a pain in the neck, but it's worth it. And as long as you take your time, you're fine. You'll do okay. Uh, White glove watches. Don't worry about it. You can always catch the beginning. It's YouTube. Uh, uh, we're here for your speaker bracelet truth. Well, I did. I didn't take the drill out, although I had it. Well, no, I did take the drill out. I just didn't. I didn't drill it. uh, so 10 Kamak 91. Yes, Bobby, I did the same exact thing. I stripped the heads of the hex. That's it. What else can you do? Yeah, yeah, that was a bad day. I came off the high of getting the watch in, and then I'm trying to size it, and I stripped the hex screws, and so that was a bummer. That was a bummer. But I'll bring it to a jeweler. They'll take it out, and those two links with those two hex screws, like I don't need those two links, fortunately. And then I'll just be really, really careful and make sure I warm up the links under hot water to loosen it up. Um, okay. Other than that, it would have been fine. Everything would have been fine. Uh, yeah, the Zinn bracelets aren't overly priced, so may as well get an arm bracelet. Yeah, and if you can get the bracelet for the Tegiman bracelet for a little over $400, which is not as I mean, there's a lot of other brands that charge like 700, 800. The bracelet on my Tudor, when I had the Tudor Blue Bay, and I came on that fake leather strap, I bought a bracelet for it, and that bracelet cost around $850. Now, is this bracelet $400 better than this bracelet? Um, no, no, because you got good tech here, you know. Um, but the clasp is better on this one. I don't know. No, it's not, I don't think it's worth it that much more. Um, yeah, try. Okay. I tried using rubber band and some tape over with allocated Nova. Yeah, that I did that too. I tried that as well, and it didn't work. It was too small. You know what I mean? If it was a bigger screw, that would work. But when you're working in these little tight little spaces, and you try to put a rubber band over it, and then the Allen wrench, you know, it 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 can never catch. Um, because they want you to buy another one when you f up. Yeah, like I did with my Equinox. That is some story. I heard that story from Oil Money himself. So, um, MJ, I purchased one watch that came with a strap that needed to be cut. Never cut it. Just bought another strap. Didn't trust myself. Screw it up, and that's it. It's unforgiving. Yeah, I think you guys are being a little hard on yourselves. It's not. You know, I was going to record me cutting the links off the strap or the rubber strap, but I decided against it, and I think that was a wise decision because that would have been just another added pressure on it. You really need to be in a zen like focus to do it, but it can be done, and it's not as hard as you think. When you finish and you get the right fit, you're gonna say to yourself, well, why did I go through all that stress? It wasn't that bad. Yeah, the wrenches are marginal. Absolutely. Um, Floyd is just joining late with a question for Bobby. What's your favorite German watch you own or have owned? I'm currently looking at Damasco Zen hand art. So, favorite watch that I have or do own that's German. Oh, that's such a tough question because I just got this one, right? I just got this one and I love it, right? I have a Jaeger and Benzinger. It's a small independent. It's a dress watch, and it has hand guilloche engine turned and engraving in the back, and it's just it's just a beautiful, beautiful watch, and that's my favorite German watch at the moment. But I love these two. I love these two. Right? I always put them upside down. Sorry, guys. I love these two watches. Oh, this one's upside down. Live TV, live streaming. I love these two guys, and I also have I had a Zinn A56, which was really great too. Great everyday watch. It was the UTC version, underrated travel watch, one of the best I feel. Also, I have a Kino Series 40 chronograph, and that's a great watch too. But I would have to say the Jaeger and Benzinger is my favorite at the moment. That could change. Of the watches that I've owned, I've also owned a Damasco DS30, and that was a fun watch to own. Um, let's see here. Um, MJ's, I've never been able to get into Zen. Reminds me of a mundane watch too much. Very similar look. I'm sure it's a good tool dive watch. But I buy Mula SAR over Zen. Sure. I mean, Zen is not for everybody. Um, I just like the toolness of it. That's what I like about it. Yeah, Philly watch fan. I'm with you. The class are very underwhelming. Absolutely. Um, let's see here. I'm trying to catch up, guys. I'm sorry. Um, with that, I want to make sure I get to everyone. If you didn't have sentimental connection to the Tudor, which would you recommend? Oh, between the U50 and the Tudor? That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. Um, and I don't want to spoil the ending of my of my Tudor versus Black Bay 50 U50 watch. But look, if man, I would say as a true dive watch, I mean, you'd have to go U50. Um, the Tudor looks so cool though, you know. But the U50's got all the tech. I don't care. I mean, the Black Bay 50 Hate has a manufacturing movement. So what? I mean, it's great. It's got 70 hours power reserve. Fine. This one's running at 0 seconds. You know what I mean? This one's running at 0 seconds, man. You know, and hopefully any watchmaker can service it. I don't know. I guess maybe you could see where I'm leaning. Um, I would buy the rubber shed if I didn't have to cut it. Yeah, Peter, you don't. They do have, I believe, like rubber on tang buckles. So, um, yeah. Um, Rob, did the hex screw strip or did the cheap hex wrenches strip? No, it was the screws. It was the screws. The screw strip. I mean, the wrenches, they were, yeah. Um, let's see here. What gets said in a Discord stays in the Discord, Bobby. That's true. That's true. Um, okay. Uh, well, Money, I think it's time to do a live shock to see if you can smoke a bullfrog. That's it. I don't hear the frogs. Do you? I don't hear the frogs. They're not out tonight. Maybe it's raining. I don't know. Or maybe it's a little colder. Do you have any thoughts on Fortis? Their current Flieger collection is kind of calming. Floyd, I like Fortis. Yeah, the Cosmonaut is awesome. Pretty cool watches. I like Fortis. I like Handheart. Um, I'm getting a Handheart into the channel soon for review. Looking forward to that. Um, would love to get a Fortis in. By the looks of it, I just like the way they look. I've seen them at that same Watch Buys Roadshow almost a year and a half ago. It's been a while, 2 years, almost 2 years ago, and but they look awesome. The class is the worst thing in the U50. Otherwise, it's one of my favorite watches. Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. No frogs, right? No frogs tonight. Well, guys, I want to keep this short because it's technically a review video, and I don't. If you come across this video somewhere down the road, maybe I'll do a timestamp. But anyway, just a new format. Wanted to try things out and see how it worked out. Anyway, guys, if you like what you see, if you're not a subscriber, please please subscribe. I would love for you guys to do that, and you guys can join. Oh, and one more thing here. Packaging, yeah, sure. Let's take a look here. Zen, it comes with a Zen box. I mean, all the Zens that have come in the same box. You do have a booklet here. Um, here's a card with your warranty stuff inside, and then just a typical box has like Zen written on it. So yeah, the packaging is fair. I mean, like I don't get really hung up on the packaging so much. Just give me a quality watch, and I think the U50 is a winner. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming into this late moment. This late, I didn't really give that much time for you guys to any fair warning. But anyway, thank you. I'll see you guys tomorrow night on a Friday night watch chat with the guys, and have a good night. Take care.